All right, finally we're in the story discussion. Okay. You probably shouldn't start with me again. I'll bounce off of what you guys want to talk about before I unload again, because
Realm, you got any opinions about the story?
I mean, really, other than like the fact that I like how it like ties off the end really with essentially Emiya meeting and adopting Shiro. And then that eventually goes back full circle to the events of Stay Night. I don't really like. There's nothing really for this from the story here that like intrigued me, other than maybe like Lancelot and Saber's duel. But even then, like that was like not even a whole lot of a highlight for me.
One of the criticisms that I actually had for like the last, well, what are we exactly calling this podcast episode?
Yeah, the last episode.
Yeah,
last submission.
Last submission that we did was we didn't go deep enough in yet, and like at this point we've already resolved that because this is the end of the series pretty much not end of the series, end of the
overarching plot shows itself a lot more
there, and pretty much I don't know why, but like it's very much more darker, and I somehow got like depressed or something. I don't know if it's the show itself or is it like freaking external factors, but yeah.
Same writer as Puella.
It is.
Oh, freaking fucking shin hell!
He also did Psychopaths.
Okay, that's fine, but still.
This guy's actually a big writer in the anime. Like he's probably done more than you guys actually think.
Sorry, I just knew that would be the board's reaction. I had to say it.
We're not reviewing Puella this week.
Never again. Don't worry. Fuck you.
I'm definitely not doing like that freaking stuff on the ban list though for like me, or at least I'm not fucking doing it.
Ban list.
Yeah, remember there was like another magical girl show.
Well,
yeah.
Someone would have to have the will to put that in, and I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no.
That's on the ban list. I'm specifically not watching that.
Yeah, no.
Not like any of us care to put that in, but
no.
That's beside the point.
No. I mean, once again, the only care I have in the story is for the historical servants.
I think that's where we differ so much because
I
actually I love the historical figures in the first half. I love what they do with them in the Banquet of Kings, where there's just three of them sitting around talking, and it's somehow the most badass scene in the series.
Yeah.
But in this half, I there's a stronger focus on the human characters.
See, but I don't care for them.
Yeah, well, fuck you.
You know, to me, each of them has the interest of I don't know, something that's just so uninteresting. Okay, but we knew going into this. I mean, the whole reason I like Fate is for the historical figures I
do genuinely feel like the focus on them. So every Fate I've ever shown you, you really don't even give the human characters a shot.
I mean, but I don't like the human. Like in Zero, Stay Night, I didn't like the characters. Period. There were no redeeming features of any of those characters.
Yeah.
No, I can respect the Stay Night, but
and
Zero, or then I've shown you a little bit of Babylonia, and every time.
Okay, but I don't like Mash. She's annoying. I just don't like Mash. That doesn't. But I like other human characters. Like I like the Doctor. You know. It's not that I don't like human characters in Fate. It's that I don't like these human characters in Fate. You know? Or I did like a few of the humans in 2006. I did like a few of them. Like the teacher. Teacher dude was awesome. Yeah.
Or you mean Kuzuki. Male or female?
Male.
Kuzuki.
Yeah. Kuzuki. Yeah. He was great. And I mean, Babylonia doesn't really count because there's basically
3 human characters.
Yeah, there's 3 human characters, but I mean, but even in Babylonia, I don't like the main protagonist in MASH, or is it MASH? MASH Chirolite, I think. Yeah. But I just don't like the two of them. But I like the other human characters. And I really like but the Starfits are so much more interesting to me, honestly. Like, I know that they're like historically inaccurate in a lot of ways, but like they have, you know, stories that I know for most of them, which means that like I look at them and I'm like, oh yeah, this. I don't know. It's something outside of the anime because like other than them, there's nothing about this anime that I would ever rewatch or watch on my own. You know, like the whole idea of the Holy Grail War, like I don't like it. It doesn't interest me. So the story itself doesn't interest me at all, but the stories of the historical characters, you know, kind of pull me in.
Didn't like they also tried to show off like their flaws and tried to like
Yeah,
turn it in
like
with,
Lancelot
human
and
masters?
an Altria. Like I like the interplay between characters who know each other and even characters who don't, you know? Or like back in 2006 when Gilgamesh was like hitting on Altria.
Yeah.
That was great. That was
Yeah.
hilarious. I loved that. You
Yeah,
know?
what did
I just-
happen to that actually?
Fan fiction is what happened to that.
Damn.
Oh, what do you mean? Like, what happened to that?
The whole Gilgamesh and
Oh, they alluded to it for like
Yeah.
2 seconds in the same
Yeah.
way and then never did
Yeah.
anything with it. It's not.
but I think like the thing is all the human characters in Fate, in a lot of ways, even if they're good characters, pale in comparison to the historical characters for me. Because with the historical characters, I have the history knowledge of them, so they almost have more development to me than the actual anime characters do, who I'm only seeing as like some of the main characters of the show during certain episodes, you know, interacting with these historical figures that I have like in my head. Like I have a lot more to attribute to them, you know? So, I mean, it could just be that in comparison to the historical figures, they pale in comparison. Because the story just obviously, the story of like an anime protagonist is not as developed as like the story of King Arthur.
That gets into why I like this story because it does not take that generic anime protagonist at all. There's not a protagonist series that takes that Game of Thrones route of the multi perspectives.
Yeah, but I also don't
That
super
everyone's
like
crap
that.
and evil.
Yeah.
But I don't super like the whole multi-perspective thing. I think that that's just splitting up time and going superficially into a lot of characters instead of like actually properly deeply developing one character. You're just superficially developing others.
See, I feel like I can watch this and I get an idea of who these people are. I know what they want to do. I know, and I can look at that and tell what kind of person they are because these scenes are done in a way where like each of these characters is basically written to be a competing philosophy in the grander scheme of things.
Yeah, but they spend so little time on all of them comparatively as to what you could spend on one if you just picked a protagonist. Like Mash is a protagonist of Babylonia, Mash and her partner, you know? And honestly, she does benefit from having more time spent on her. So does he, you know? I think, I mean, for me, I do really like characters. It's one of the things why I'm so excited about like the early arcs in One Piece is because they're character arcs. This is, 15 episodes dedicated to one character's backstory. Vorn, I don't dislike Snafu because the characters don't get enough development for me. There's a lot of reasons why I dislike Snafu beyond that.
I'm talking about just the characters though.
Well, I know, but I don't know. I don't particularly like multiple perspectives. I do prefer to have a protagonist defined.
When you have a defined protagonist, you get something like Shiro or Luffy, where the protagonist is so
One
they-
Fuck off!
relate to
Don't you shit on Luffy. Luffy is my
a
baby.
garbage protagonist.
Luffy
so
is
far.
a precious cinnamon bun, and you will not besmirch that.
Well, what we've seen so far, he is pretty fucking crap. Look,
Fuck off.
hey,
Okay,
we
I
haven't
will actually,
seen the
okay, I
rest.
will
You
actually,
have.
I will actually defend Seki here on Luffy. He's not that bad of a protagonist later on because
Look,
I've actually
Shiro's
watched
a worse
further into.
protagonist, but Luffy.
Yeah.
Where
Shiro
we're
is
at
a
now
much
for
worse
Born and I-
protagonist than Luffy,
No,
Okay.
but for much different reasons.
Okay, but like 24 episodes of Fate Zero being all of the characterization for Shiro means that like to make the exact same judgment call on Luffy, you'd have to watch all the 900 and whatever episodes. We are literally the equivalent of one episode in worth of content.
I've never said it, Luffy
compared.
overall and all those was bad. So it's just like I actually like Shiro as a character, not in 2006.
Ugh. Okay, 2006 was just bad.
Yeah, it was bad. There's no
Also,
redeeming.
at this point, this has just become characters, by the way.
Yes.
The last 5 minutes have just been characters.
Very true.
So I think we need to just combine these two segments today.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
split this in a
At
nice
this
way.
point, we fucked ourselves over.
Yeah, so we might as well just
Fuck
talk
your way
about
over
characters,
sideways.
theme, story, and waifu wars. Waifu
Waifu
wars. Waifu wars.
Okay.
No,
Was I the
Realm
only
gets
one?
to
I
go.
felt like me and Seki were the only ones
Yeah,
trying to
I
even
didn't
chant
catch on
there.
quick enough. I'm still processing that we moved
Yeah.
the characters.
Yeah, no. Realm gets to go first because he's quick to catch on.
Who was my waifu last time for this show?
Fuck off if I know.
Fuck. I'm honestly so
number.
lost here because like my
You can pick a
waifu I
different
don't
waifu.
think has changed, but the problem is I don't even
Can you
remember who it
not?
was.
Just tell us. We'll
I
figure
don't know.
It out
I just
later.
don't. I honestly just don't remember is the problem.
Put him down.
Really? Oh my.
Put him down.
He's up.
That's it.
You blinked.
This is a brick.
That is a brick.
That is the point of this thing.
I
Okay,
mean,
I'm
Realm,
just
I
gonna
don't
fuck
know.
it. I because I don't remember who my waifu was last time. I'm just gonna go with Ryder. I'm just gonna go with
Okay.
Ryder.
That might have been it last time.
Yeah, that
too.
might
Yeah.
have. Vorn?
I'm going to actually the same for this one again. I'm going to say nope.
Okay.
Yeah, just nope.
Exactly the same.
Dear Mood,
Yeah. Dear Mood.
guy who couldn't even die without crying his eyes out.
Fuck off. Dear Mood. Yeah.
Oh my.
Dear Mud.
I'm gonna stick with the same this time. It's his Kandar, although I will give an honorary mention to Kiritsugu Emiya.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
So
This has not convinced me to like Artoria anymore
Yeah.
than 2006 did. Knick knack.
don't worry.
I mean, the series' entire purpose is to make you not like Artoria's.
I know.
direction.
I'm still at that point where like our Artoria is just so far from any idea kind of King Arthur at this point still. Like we're still kept so far apart from her as like a developed character that like this is not going well.
No, that's fair.
You know?
Even I have to be honest. When I first watched the Artoria, was definitely like to this day I don't care for much of Artoria. Like Artoria is never my favorite part of any Fate series outside of like we don't see it yet, but eventually going long enough, she does end up being a villain sometimes. She's so much more interesting.
Yeah, I do like her in the Babylonia movie.
You mean the Fate Grand Order First Order movie?
The First Order movie where she's like bad.
Yeah,
I like that.
I think Artoria makes a much better villain than a hero, but that's just I know there's like a billion Artoria stands out there who would crucify me for that.
Yeah, I just don't. And my opinion on Artoria is fully dependent on her historical context. Is that like, as of yet, we have so little to like actually. Jesus fuck.
Too much pizza?
No, just take out.
Well, I think the issue is during the 2006 with Artoria, and I just kind of Artoria, they spend so much. They don't want to reveal who Artoria is at all, so they don't spend much time with the fact that she's King Arthur.
Yeah, so the only real part you get is the
Excalibur?
Thank you. Fuck.
And in this series, the only thing they really focus on with King Arthur until like the last scene with her with Lancelot is her like, your ideology's kind of bland and stupid, which is fair for King Arthur stories, I guess, but also it's not all that.
Yeah,
it works more as a critique of that character archetype as a whole as it does of King Arthur. It's not necessarily something that needed to be King Arthur.
Yeah, and I like Lancelot, of course. Although honestly, I will say they are kind of keeping to the whole knowing that Fate was originally porn. Mm-hmm. They really are keeping to the whole tales of King Arthur, because King Arthur was like this thing that was like written in like the 1600s or something by this dude. I have the book, I'm looking at it, Sir Thomas Mallory, and then like nobody cared about it for like 200 years, and then all of a sudden people were like, we want bedroom romances that are so steamy that women have to hide them in their sock drawers, and they were like, what could we possibly write about? King Arthur. So like 90% of like surviving King Arthur literature is like torrid love affairs and love stories based in that world.
I guess not know that Berserker is Lancelot. Just a fun little thing.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned that a lot of like I've talked about King Arthur literature with you before, where you said like Lancelot was literally just a self-insert for the
Yeah.
original King Arthur stories.
Yeah.
And then Galahad was made to correct for that.
Yeah, basically, because the Galahad's his son.
I will tell
the
you
pure
this.
knight.
Lancelot as a character throughout the series gets so well bashed. It's amazing.
That's really good. I mean, I always like to see King Arthur adaptions because there's just so many of them already that it's kind of interesting to see if you can find anything new.
In my opinion, the Arturia character, the Altria King Arthur character, gets a lot more interesting once you actually start introducing other Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah, I could see that like the interplay between all of them would be really interesting because even in the stories, I mean, because not all the knights are knights at the same time, but a lot of them are like connected to one another in like certain ways. Like Galahad is Lancelot's son, not by Guinevere, but by someone else, and that becomes like a major sticking point in their relationship. And then you have in certain stories, Tristan is Arthur's nephew in certain versions. And I think the other big family connection is that sometimes Mordred is a knight of the Round Table. Sometimes it depends. And Mordred is related somehow through Morgan Le Fay. Depending on the story, it's sister, wife, mother.
Like, but as of now, with King Arthur, all we really have is that King Arthur was the ideal king, and that in trying to be the ideal king, King Arthur pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is kind of, oh god, I kind of hate that philosophy in like a lot of stories because it feels like a cop out to justify like, oh, I'm just going to choose the good of many over the good of few, and that's just going to be good because I'm a good king then.
Well, that's this entire story's purpose. Like, Iskandar, a writer, constantly calls King Arthur like, that's bullshit, and you know it. You're fighting wars. Kiritsugu calls King Arthur out, like, do you really think that you're doing good? Like, there's no good in this war. You're trying to meet an end. Don't try to convince yourself you're this perfect being.
Like, it's fucking stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
Technically, he's doing the exact same thing.
Well, he's doing the same, but he
but he owns
he's a
up
terrible
to it.
person.
He's like, I am a shit person. Come at me.
That's the entire theme. And back with the story, it's the theming of the story. That's why it's so hard for me to talk about. It's not the characters.
Yeah.
It's that I'm gonna bear all the world's evil in order to save the world.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. So I mean, and it sucks because Altria is basically like the main servant essentially for the fandom. Like when people look at Fate, you see pictures of Altria.
I like what they do with her here for what they do with her, but as a character,
well,
really
I mean,
it
depends.
Go ahead, Realm.
Well, I guess it depends on which fandom you're asking. Are you asking the normal Fate community, or are you asking the Fate Dujin community?
Honestly, if the Fate Dojin community is more creative than the regular Fate community, I'd be happy. Like, I want to see romances not involving Altria.
There are plenty.
I'm making a joke over the fact that like she is so far one of the main servants in 2 series you showed us in a row, and there's basically what amounts to a recolored off-brand version of her in another series.
There is
not just one recolored off-brand version.
There is way more than one. There's way more than one. There is way more than one. But
can I offer you a mysterious heroine X?
I'd say that probably the what is it? The mainly the front cover of the Fate Dojin community is Raiko. I'd say that that's probably it. Second being Astolfo.
That is from a very particular part of the Fate Dojin.
Where can I get me some good Kuklain Dojin, y'all?
I actually haven't seen all that many.
Go look at porn sites.
Is too pretty. For male Dojin, you need the ugly bastards.
I've never been so disappointed by the Japanese gay manga community. Like, fuck off. Do you know how many One Piece Dojins I've read? And you're telling me there aren't a significant amount of good Kuklain ones?
The Dojin community is very well obsessed with Astolfo.
Oh, what? No, I need me some like Kuklain. My hero realm.
Oh my god.
I get so irritated by that because like and this is in like all fan fiction. This is slightly a side tangent, but like I am one of those people that kind of gravitates to like rare pairs and characters who aren't popular in the fandom, and it really really sucks because then there's like either such a small amount of fan fiction available that there's nothing good, or there just isn't any about that particular pairing that isn't a crack pairing, which is really the only reason why I'm still in the Harry Potter fandom at all, is just because the fandom is so large that even side characters get like a lot of fan fictions written about them, whereas like, for example, or on High School Host Club, the archive of the fan fiction archive only has like 18K stories. So like, if it's not about the hosts, fuck off. You know, even though there are good other characters. It's also really hard to find One Piece Dojin. And when you do, it's almost all Luffy Zoro, which I am so not okay with.
Well, if it's any comfort to you, the fan fiction community is a lot nicer to Kuklain than the Dojin community. It's just the porn side that doesn't work with Kuklain all that much.
Yeah, well, now that I've finished Zero, I can go into the archives without guilt.
You've covered the bare basics. 2006
Good
Zero.
enough.
And
Yeah.
You've seen stuff for Grand Order.
Yeah, so I can now go into the archives and hunt for my Kuklain. My Satanta.
Wait.
I'm gonna name a child Satanta.
Was the original have Kirei being the you know of what he is?
Yeah, Kirei was a bastard in the original 2006 as well.
Yeah. Now you know the reason why we hate Kirei more.
I'll stick with my lovely Satanta.
What about your second waifu?
Not as good as Satanta.
Are we talking
Okay,
about?
I mean,
the
Diarmid.
original.
No, I was talking about from the 2006,
Oh.
your second waifu.
Fuck off.
By the way,
No.
we got to see that guy's father get like
Yeah.
a gun pointed to his face and
Yeah.
I think his fingers cut off or something like that.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
remember what
great.
they did to him, but he got tortured in this. I was like, oh yes, hurt him more.
Jeez.
Kill him before his loins can father that unholy child.
Ugh.
I mean, that was great.
Yes. My favorite episodes, and I don't think we're going to keep on discussion on these episodes much because I'm probably alone here. My favorite episodes are those 2 episodes in the middle without servants.
Yeah.
Which one? Like just
The
the
Kiritsugu
backstory?
flashback backstory episodes, because those ones are where you actually do get a consistent main character all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, like, at least it stuck to like.
And it does, because the series changes at that point. It stops being a multi-main character story and starts really focusing down on that one character. Waver gets less focus. He still gets his arc finished.
Yeah.
But like all the other, at this point, as characters start dying off, it actually goes and makes an effort to identify a main character for you, so you know, like, who's supposed to be the center of the end of this.
Yeah, which is fair. That was more tolerable than the rest of the.
I just figured you probably wouldn't like those episodes because that first episode
It
where
was
there's a bunch of
fine.
like zombies.
I really hate zombies.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
I really okay, but that's a me thing. Like, that doesn't mean that like zombie things are bad. I just really happen to viscerally object to zombie things.
And I do want to be clear. I have joked around about how I'm angry at Realm for not giving us an approve, and how Seki is truly an uncultured swine. I don't actually think that. I get it. Like, the series is at its core a tragedy. It's a multi-perspective series. It is not a fun series to watch, I don't think. I can see why Vorn got depressed.
So basically it's hitting off like all of our no-no switches.
But these are like all of my yes switches.
Shut up, Jojo.
I'm okay with the phrase no-no switches, but for some reason yes sounds just wrong.
Oh, you need to watch more JoJo.
I do need to watch more JoJo. This is true.
It hits all of my switches, but I can see why it does not appeal to everyone on a mass level. Even in the Fate fandom in recent years, a lot more people have moved over to their favorite being Unlimited Blade Works, Babylonia.
God, I love Babylonia.
Elmoy.
Okay,
I haven't
but
seen much Elmoy.
I mean,
I
like,
like
that's
Elmoy.
maybe that's the thing I admire most about Fate, is that there's so many different series covering so many different topics with so many different themes and stuff like that. Like, you like Zero, you like
Elmoy.
Elmoy. Realm
Elmoy.
thinks that he's going to like
Apocrypha.
Apocrypha.
That's a stall.
Yeah, and I prefer Babylonia because Babylonia is the history-centric one that's really heavy on servants and history, you know, and obviously Fate Zero is the one that's super character-y. And I don't know about the other two, but I assume they have something about them that like each of you particularly prefer.
Sherlock,
Elmo is
mystery.
kind of like a mystery series that's not, and it's kind of like Railgun. It treats Fate more like Railgun and Index. I notice.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that is the thing about the Fate series. It's so different across multiple mediums.
Seki.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I found, I don't know how, like, this is either a win or an L for you, depending on your perspective.
Oh
There
boy.
is a grand total of 1 Dojin with Cuckoo Lane in it. A grand total of 1.
Wow, doing my boy wrong.
See, the fact that Realm and I can answer these questions about the Fate Dojin community says a little bit, I think.
Oh, you know what? I will get to that point in One Piece, and I have seen some things in the One Piece Dojin community.
Did you?
I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at I'm gonna dive down this rabbit hole right now.
See, the biggest thing about the One Piece Dojin community that everyone needs to understand before I shut up about it forever.
Well, why don't you hold that thought for our final thoughts, and we can be a little bit easy. We can move to that now.
Okay, yeah, we should move.
So why
to
don't we move on to Vorn? Do you have something to say?
Knick-knack. When did they actually talk about like the ley line bombs, or is that just like something altogether separate?
Ley line bombs. Ley line bombs.
Remember, Kiritsuki put ley line bombs, but like freaking due to the messed upness of this, it started faster than he thought it would.
Oh, that's like a footnote in UBW, I think. It's not all that important. They don't ever talk about it or in this series at all.
Okay.
All right. Well, see you next time. Try harder, everyone.
See ya!